In this topic, let's look at date and time calculation. For that, let's load another dataset, which is again in the CSV format. So let's go over here and select calendar. You can see the preview over here. Now click transform data. Now the data is getting loaded to Power BI and you can see that the data is here. So earlier we discussed about text, we discussed about numbers. Now let's discuss about the date format. Now how do you recognize that the data type is date? So if you look over here on the left side of the column header, the icon is of a calendar, which means it's in a date format. Now as you can see over here, there is just a single date column. Now suppose I want to create a dashboard on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or an yearly basis. Let's see how we can do that. Now suppose for each date entry in this column, I want to find out the starting date of the week in which this particular date falls. That is, if it's 1st January 2015 as shown over here, I want to find out the date, that is the starting date of the week in which this 1st January 2015 falls. To do that in Power Query is very easy. You do not have to use any formula. Just select this. Now go to Add Column and under Date, go to Week and then select Start of the Week. When you choose this option, you can see a new column Start of Week has been added over here and the date in this column is the starting date of the week for the date column. For example, for 1st January 2015, 28th December 2014 is the start date of that week. Now how does Power Query calculate the start of the week? And why is it considering 28th December as the start of that week? The answer is, in Microsoft, be it Microsoft Excel, Access or Power BI, every week starts with a Sunday. So Microsoft counts Sunday as 1, Monday as 2, Tuesday 3 and so on. Now what if I want to change the start of the week from Sunday to Monday? Say my company is following a calendar where the week starts with Monday. So can I change that? Yes, you can do that. Now you have seen that to create start of week, we have manually not applied any formula. As I told you earlier, whenever we apply a formula, Power Query automatically creates a code which is called M code, which is visible over here in the formula bar. So it basically regenerates the code for whatever steps we apply to our data to transform it. Now to make any changes to Power Query's default setting, you will have to tweak this M code. So for this, go over here, click next to the date, comma, and it is asking for us to return the first value of the week, which is 1. Because as we said earlier, Microsoft considers 1 as Monday. So now you can see here that the week is starting from Monday. So 29 December 2014 is Monday, which is the start of that particular week. So this is how you can tweak the code as per your requirement. Now just like we added the start of week, now I want to add the start of the month because I want to generate reports for my monthly KPIs. So similar to what we did earlier, click here, go to date, go to month and then select start of month. So a new column is added, start of month, with the first date for that month. Now let's add a column for start of year in a similar way. So we have the year as well listing over here. So this is one of the amazing features of Power Query, that we can get columns based on these features. Now we are done working on this file. So let's go to Home, go to Close and Apply and Close and Apply. So now we are back to our Power BI desktop. You can see that it's applying query changes and it's done. Under the fields, you can see that we have now loaded the calendar, customers and products file. Now before going to the next option, let's load another file. For that, first go to Get Data And again choose text CSV. Now next let us load a sales database. So I'll upload this sales 2016 file. Here click transform data. So now we have the sales data in our Power Query editor. Now the next feature that we are going to discuss is the group by option. Let me show you what it is. Now in this sales data, we have the order date, stock date, order number, product key, customer key, territory key, order item, order quantity and all. Now suppose I want to generate a report to find out the total quantity sold based on the product key. Now if I go to this column product key and click on the filter, so here you can filter based on the product key, and if I select 320 and click OK, now you can see that for the year 2016 the total quantity sold for product key 320 is this much. Okay, but I want to find out the sum of the total order quantity. I want to know the total quantity sold for the product key 320. So in Microsoft Excel, we can do this with the help of a pivot table or a sum if or ifs function. But now Power Query has made this really simple. What you have to do is, all you have to do is go to transform, and here you have the option group by. Just click on this group by and this window will open over here. So here you have to choose your column, which is product key, and now give a name to your new column. So I'll call this total quantity. Now the operation I'll choose is sum because I want to find out the total order quantity. And here you select the column on which you have to apply this operation. So the column will be order quantity on which you have to apply the sum operation and OK. So you can see that for each and every product key, the total quantity is now displayed. So that is how you can make use of this group by option. Now let me cancel this step and go back to my sheet. Now let's look at another scenario. I want to create the same report based on the product key as well as the customer key. So if I select product key and go to group by option, you can see here that with basic option you can apply group by only on one column. But if you want to apply group by on multiple columns, you have to go to the advanced option. So to add additional grouping, click on add grouping and select customer key. So I'll name the column total quantity and operation will be sum and column will be order quantity, and then you can add one more aggregation. I'll name it average sales quantity. Operations will be average and the column will be order quantity. So this way I can add more aggregation and more grouping options as well. Let's click on OK. And here you can see that two columns, total quantity and average sales quantity, have been added on the basis of product key and customer key. So in a single step, we have grouped the product key and the customer key. So this way we can apply multiple grouping to multiple columns. So let's close this step for the time being. Now next, let's look at conditional columns. What I mean by conditional column is, you add a column and then entry to that column is based on a particular condition or a logical statement. For example, I want to add a column next to this order quantity. Now what is the logic based on which the new column should be added? So if the order quantity is 1, the entry in that column should be single. And if the order quantity is more than 1, then the entry should be multiple. In Excel, we can do this with the help of if function. But how can we do this in Power Query? Let's see. Click on this add column and here you can see conditional column. Now click on that So once you click, this window will get opened. Now let's give a name to our column. Say product status. So you can see that it starts with an if function. So if order quantity is greater than 1, so it's very simple. If order quantity is greater than 1, then what should be the output? The output should be multiple item. Now you can use this add clause if you have more conditions to add. But in this case, I have only 2 scenarios, and for that, else would suffice. So else, it is single. Now click OK. So a new column is here, product status. Let's click on the filter and check. You can see single. Click on load more and you can see multiple item and single. Let's select multiple item and you can see all the multiple items being listed over here. So this is how you can apply the if condition in Power Query. That is by using conditional column. So in this topic, we looked at the date transformation options, group by and conditional column option.